How's everybody doing on this beautiful Saturday? And it is beautiful here in St. John's. I want to thank everybody last night for having my back on the video I did of being called Weekend Warriors. The whole idea of the video was about being called a Weekend Warrior and how it made me feel sometimes when it was used in that sense of it being negative, like that's all we were good for. Um, but a lot of y'all came to my defense from Mr. Alex James' is unkind words. And I really don't care about that shit anymore because, I've come to realize when you put yourself out there, and even as a musician, when you're playing in bars and things, you're putting yourself out there, you're opening yourself up to a whole world of criticism. Whether in his mind he was right or whatever, it's his opinion, he's entitled to it. I would never do anything like that. I would never reach out to somebody and say, hey, you suck or whatever, or give them life advice, unless, they were basically sucking a dick behind a fucking dumpster for crack, then maybe some life coaching might be needed. And that's not just centric to fellas, by the way. That's anybody, okay? So, once again, thank you, everybody, for the support on that. And speaking of support, it'd be cool if you aren't already, if you subscribe to the channel, help the old guy out. I promise I will not make any more jokes referencing the tightness of a nun's ass. Some 13 people took offense to it and left the channel. But that's it. Life goes on for everybody else, doesn't it? So today I'm going to talk about motivation. We've talked about everything under the sun here. And, self-confidence and things like that. But motivation just to pick up your instrument on a daily basis, something as rudimentary as just picking it up, and playing, learning something new. And a question came from a friend of mine, Gary, last night after I put up my other video, and he's like, what do you do when you just don't feel like picking it up? And he's going through a hard time at work, and I totally get it. When I drove trucks for a living and you're working a 14-hour day and you come home and then technically you've put in a 15-hour day away from the house or more, and you come home, you're not in the mood to sit down and learn, songs by Madonna or Cyndi Lauper or Whitney Houston or Weezer for that matter. You want to come home, eat your supper, and go to fucking bed. That's it. So trying to be motivated can be tough, and there's different ways I guess you can do it. Different ways that the people in this conversation I've had before have done it. The number one thing seems to be just learn something new, learn new types of music. So if you're a rock player, delve into the country. If you're a country player, go into rock or jazz or, whatever, Latin, classical. Learn how to, finger pick up new techniques, learn how to sweep. Then that way you have something to look forward to. And it's not about being in a rut. We all go through a rut, but we keep playing. You'll sit down and you'll just, noodle. But it's about being motivated. And when you're in an adult situation where you work a day job and you're a weekend warrior, sometimes you're tired at the end of the week. I know I come home from work sometimes and I work, it's really cold. It's a giant freezer, and sometimes if I have to spend all day in there because we've got a sick call or, yesterday was that exact scenario. Somebody had to go home and I had to take their spot in the freezer. And I was in no way, shape, or form really prepared to come home and play a guitar, even though I did a video. I don't think I would have been able to sit down and learn a song. But here's a piece of advice that's kept me going. After I got through all that, and I hit probably around 44-ish, I want to say. A piece of advice that was given to me by a guitar teacher, and it can go so much more than just to a musical instrument. And he said to me, because he knew I didn't practice anything for the whole week that I'd been away from him. And he said to me, if you practiced an hour today, that's an hour you'll be better tomorrow. So if you put in the work today, then tomorrow you'll be better than what you were the day before. And that goes into being a human being as well, not just music, right? So if you do the right things today, then tomorrow you're that much a better rapper. You can look at yourself in the mirror, I guess, a lot better. And it doesn't, like I said, pertain just to guitars. So there's days I get up in the morning, I have coffee, we do breakfast, The missus will go upstairs to get ready for work. I'm usually pretty well ready by the time I come downstairs to get breakfast. That's just me. And I do what I call my half-hour strum. And in that half an hour, I try to find something I don't know and learn it. And it may not be something I'm going to use, but I just feel like I'm that much better off. When I was taking lessons, my teacher would always say, it's great to learn the fun stuff that keeps you motivated to play, but when you learn the boring things, that's what really actually ups your game and makes you a better player. So, I mean, everybody loves playing, you know, I loved it. Pentatonic scales, beautiful, in the key of A. A for awesome. I didn't like it when he started getting me to go learning major scale stuff, because I didn't know how to apply that to. So it was hard to keep that part of it, like to pick up your guitar and go, I gotta be motivated to learn that. So take 10 minutes and do the fun stuff and then get into the hard stuff. That's one way to be motivated. Say to yourself over and over again, if I do this today, I'll be that much further along tomorrow to obtain whatever goal. Set goals. That's another good thing too. And set obtainable goals. Don't set a goal that's like, well, I'm going to learn how to play Yngwie Malmsteen's complete catalog by tomorrow. I've been playing 6 months. I should be able to handle it, right? Just set a goal of something you know you can obtain, whether it's learning a song or whatever. And you know something that I discovered a while ago? There were a lot of songs when I was a teenager that I said, I'll never be able to play that. And my brain carried that along my whole life. And then as an adult, I sat down with that exact same song and, wow, this isn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. And that can be a good, healthy, motivating factor. Not letting down your bandmates, you can use that as a motivating factor if you're in a band. If you don't learn your songs today and you go to practice and you're like, guys, I don't know shit, they're not going to be happy. I've had to go into rehearsals and say, guys, I know the song, I just don't have the solo down yet. I've been really busy at work and I haven't had that time. And if we've got a month before a gig, they're like, yeah, okay, well, that's no problem. You got the nuts and the bolts. We can tighten the song itself up, you know. Just try to have it for next jam, if you can, right? Or at least by the gig. Sometimes that's happened. I've walked into a gig and Alex will look at me with the songs and go, oh, you learned that solo, excellent. But those are the great things. Keeping it fun as well. If you're in a bad situation, we spoke about this in firing people and whatever. If you're in a bad situation, you're not going to want to play, even just to pick up your instrument and play it, just at home, let alone go to rehearsals or go to gigs. If you're not enjoying it, and that should be the number one thing with your instrument. And that doesn't mean gigging and making money, because people always say, well, you're always saying you got to make money. When you're home, you don't. If you're gigging and you're using it as a source of income, that's where I'm going with that, okay? I got to keep repeating that. But when you're home and when you're doing things, you can't be miserable either, no matter how big the paydays are or whatever. But if you keep it fun, you'll keep motivated to keep playing. And some guys have OCD, where if they don't practice, they go batshit crazy. And I remember reading an interview with Zakk Wylde, and he said he didn't like being somewhere in a situation when he had to go a day without playing guitar, and couldn't imagine like possibly going a week without touching a guitar. So, you know, you can keep those things in your mind and keep them present, and maybe that'll help you out. I don't know. Is that a good enough answer, Gary? Send me a text and let me know. I'm outside the box today. I use one of these nice little shiny Hercos because I'm a huge fan of Don Felder from the Eagles, and I like the way that they sound when they dig in. I've done videos. Love that sound, the serrated edges. All right, take care, and we'll see you later. And thanks again for having my back, folks.